So last winter, my girlfriend and I traveled to Thailand and Vietnam for 3 months, primarily by motorbike, and we had to fit our entire lives into one backpack. So in this video, I'm gonna break down what I brought, how the stuff I brought performed, why I chose it. Let's get into it. So almost more important than what you bring is what you're putting it in. What I chose is the RMU Core 42-liter backpack. I feel like the thing that sets this backpack apart is just how accessible everything is from the outside of the pack. You have one big zip that just kind of opens up this big flap. Now in here, I stored my travel towel, as well as this box of charging and camera accessories that just seemed to fit really nicely up here, and that kept this accessible. And then this little zipper right here opens a compartment that sits in between this outer pocket and the main inner compartment. So this is an excellent place to stuff like dirty clothes and keep it separate from the rest of your pack, the rest of your clean clothes. So that's what I used this for. I also stuffed a travel battery in here sometimes. And then moving to the middle zipper right here, this is a nice small size pocket to keep things fairly accessible. I have sunglasses, a nightlight, ear pods, but then even when you go into the main compartment here, there's another opening right here, which gives you easy access to another set of your gear. And then you have the top of your actual main compartment here. So there's just a lot of spots in this backpack that you can get to without having to go dig. And then this completely unzips from the rear and then gives you complete access to the entire main compartment with all your clothes, whatever is buried in here, you can get to. And then it has a little pouch right here. I use it for my iPad that I brought. There's at no point was I just like throwing like all my clothes out on the street to try and get to something. If I needed to get something, I was able to open up the bag in a way that made sense and get it fairly quickly. It's water resistant, it's not waterproof, but that helped on the wet days. This outer pouch as well was great for storing sandals. And when my towel got a little stinky, hanging the towel off the back here. No tears. The bag did go flying off my motorcycle, so the only damage scar it has is a little tear in this mesh. But other than that, it was super durable. These were great for stuffing water bottles and bungeeing them onto the bike. There's a ton of little pockets and storage on the belt and shoulders of the pack. So don't want to make this just about the pack, but this was a super key piece in keeping everything organized and making packing and unpacking a not enjoyable experience, but not an overly frustrating one. And yeah, 42 liters seemed like a really good size. I actually had a little bit of extra space to gather some things on the trip. There's no order in what I'm going here. I'm just gonna yank stuff out of the bag as we go. And the first thing is this Sony A6300 with a Sigma 18 to 50 mil lens. This was an awesome travel camera. It's been a while since I've put energy into taking photos. So what's next is underwear and socks. I carried, I think, 5 pairs of underwear and maybe 4 pairs of socks. How I stored these are in these little stasher bags. Really convenient. You can open them up a little bit and like squash them down, get the air out, close them. So it helps you pack these things in nice and tight. A good way to keep your socks and underwear from intermingling with the rest of your clothing. A pair of athletic sunglasses. These are Tifosis and they have a monochromatic lens, which just means it gets darker when it's brighter out and lighter when it's darker out. When we were riding the motorcycles around, these are just nice to have. Had a night light. I actually never used this that much. I think I brought 5 t-shirts. Let's see here. But my selection of t-shirts was very, very calculated. I brought 2 casual cotton t-shirts, nothing special about them. So the other 3 shirts were chosen very carefully, and they're all from a company called Velocio. They actually make really high-end cycling apparel and have kind of branched out into really high-end casual apparel. So the first shirt is called their Modal Tee, and this is made out of I guess the material is called modal. Ultra stretchy, super comfortable, super soft, four-way stretch material, but it doesn't feel synthetic. It feels like softer than cotton. And this was my go-to like travel comfy shirt. So the next shirt is actually part of their mountain bike line. It's the Modal Trail Tee. And this is probably the most ventilated t-shirt I've ever worn, but this was my go-to on hot, humid days. It just made the humidity feel like it stuck on you a little less and actually got some airflow through your body. Probably my most worn shirt, at least in the warmer climates for sure. And then the last tee is the Merino Wool Trail Tee. Super basic, hardly any logos. This was just a nice shirt to have in kind of moderate to colder climates. None of these shirts really got that bad, but when I was low on clean clothes, I could really go back to this shirt a few days in a row and have it not be smelling too bad. If I had to make any adjustments to my t-shirt selection, I maybe would have taken one more cotton casual shirt. So keeping with the tops, count these as t-shirts. These are long sleeves, but just having a long sleeve in a really nice ventilated material was nice for those long days on the scooter where you don't want to get your arms burnt. And then I picked up this long sleeve in Thailand just because it was awesome. Yeah, I mean, I can't really say much more about it. And now for shorts. I took 3 different shorts. The first is just a Patagonia. I think it's just a swim trunk, but it can double as just a casual short. Good enough to go swimming, good enough to wear out. And then my 2 main shorts were, again, from Velocio. These are called the Recon Stealth Short, and I'm like a 33 waist and I'm 6'1". It's hit or miss for me on shorts, but these, the inseam length felt just right. Having 2 pairs of these shorts in neutral colors, I could wear these for days and days on end. A lot of days on the motorcycle, no rips, tears. Besides the wrinkles, they look almost new. And then a bonus set of shorts. But while we were in Hoi An, whipped up myself a pair of badass shorts. Material's super soft and they pack up really small. I took 2 pairs of pants. I felt like that was the right number of pants. I didn't need more than 2 pairs of pants. I think these have to be my favorite pants of all time. They're starting to show their age. They're the Mission Workshop work pant. And unfortunately, they don't make these anymore, and I'm pretty heartbroken by it. So shout out to Mission Workshop. I wish you guys could buy these because I would recommend these pants for everything, but especially travel. They're super durable. It's time to touch on probably the most important pieces of kit. No, I'll save that for later, but the 2 jackets I brought with me. We did run into some weather on the bikes in northern Vietnam and in northern Thailand, and this really pushed the limits of our cold weather gear. Bringing too much is really annoying because another jacket is a lot of space. Bringing too little is obviously really bad because being stuck out in the cold sucks. But I think we hit it just right. The weather we encountered took us to the limits of having 1 micro puffy. This is a Patagonia jacket. I'm not exactly sure the model, but I've had this for maybe 6 or 7 years. It's not a full puffy, but it is a down jacket. It's got a nice hood too, but it's not super thick. It packs down fairly tight. And for its weight and size, it keeps me pretty warm. And the other piece of the puzzle is the outer layer. And this is almost even more important than your inner layer, because if your outer layer isn't doing its job, then you're just gonna be soaked anyway. But this is the Velocio Trail Access Jacket. Again, this is part of their cycling line. And just a disclaimer, I was sponsored by Velocio in the past, but as of now, I don't have any affiliation with the brand. If it was bad, I would call it out, but it just so happened that all the stuff I got from them was really solid. Yeah, this Trail Access Jacket, I think did a super good job of being mostly waterproof. There was a point where it soaked through, but it held its own in some really, really wet gnarly conditions. And for its weight, it's not one of those like super heavy, plastic bag feeling jackets. It's super light, which meant I could wear it almost as a default on most days, unless it was like piping hot, because the weather would change like in a moment. You'd go over a ridge and it would be rainy. Just having this on, it was breathable enough to have it be my go-to outer layer, so I wasn't too hot, and then I was prepared when it did get cold. The wrist cuff has elastic and is pretty tight, so that really helps when you're riding a motorcycle and wrist, so it's not getting like blown up your arm. The fit is tight enough to not look super baggy and be flapping in the wind, but it had enough room to fit this puffy under it. So my warmest setup was the merino wool t-shirt with this puffy and this outer layer, and that was able to get us through most of the worst weather on our trip. Your outer layer is a key piece of kit. Don't skimp on a bad jacket because you're probably gonna regret it. This is something I picked up in a thrift store in Vietnam, Heartbeat of America jacket, and I couldn't say no. That's all my clothes. So for 3 months in hot weather, cold weather, everything in between, that got me through the trip. I don't think I overpacked and I don't think I underpacked. I feel like this is a good amount of stuff to bring. So the last thing I'm gonna touch on, and debatably one of the most important pieces to touch on, is footwear. So I brought 2 pieces of footwear. One are these Bedrock sandals. They're just the originals. I think there's like a 3D model or something, but these are the basic ones. Super easy to slip on, but they also have a heel. So you can go running in them, you can go hiking. You see the locals, everyone's in slides. Like if you're thinking of bringing hiking boots just for like normal travel and you're not going on some big expedition, you're gonna look at a place. I mean, all the locals are wearing sandals no matter what they're doing. So it just shows that you don't really need as much as you might think. But the other pair of shoes I brought are these 5'10" trail crosses. I was really debating what the other pair of shoes was gonna be, and I don't know how I didn't make as many mistakes as I thought I would, but these trail crosses I think were probably the perfect shoe. They don't look too out of place, like they can kind of pass as casual shoes. They look a little dorky, but not too bad. And they're kind of a cross between a light hiking shoe, a running shoe. So they kind of check all the boxes. I was able to go on runs in them. They're mainly mesh on top. They have not too much cushioning, enough cushioning to feel comfortable, but they still dry out really quickly. And the soles are super sticky. It's stealth rubber. So if you're a mountain biker or a climber, you know what that is. Yeah, between these and the sandals, I was really happy. Maybe it would have been nice to have a casual pair, but like I said, I'm not too worried about style. I kept all of my camera chargers, phone chargers, everything like that in this little GoPro box. Just kept everything nice and organized. And then I brought a travel towel. This is super key. You don't want to be like relying on your hostel or homestay to have towels. Last thing I brought is an iPad. It was nice to, do photography, have a platform to edit it on. This is a MacBook Pro 11-inch with the M1 chip. So I'm able to run Photoshop, Illustrator, and some other programs that make it just really easy to go back and forth between the camera and the editing. That is everything I brought on the trip. This pile here, this backpack. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I was thinking of doing a bit of a trip summary to go through what happened, what the original plan was, what it ended up being, where we went. So if you're interested in that video, let me know in the comments. But otherwise, subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.